Picture this for a moment. You're standing in your kitchen on a quiet Tuesday morning, watching your 78-year-old mother carefully stirring her bowl of oatmeal. The same warm, comforting breakfast she's enjoyed for decades. Maybe you've even added fresh orange slices on top, thinking you're being the perfect, caring child. You feel good about yourself, right? You're making sure she gets her fiber, her vitamins, her nutrients. You're doing everything you can to keep her healthy and strong. But what if I told you, and I need you to really hear this, what if I told you that this exact scene, this moment of love and care, could actually be slowly poisoning the person you're trying so desperately to protect? I know that sounds dramatic. I know it might even make your heart skip a beat. But here's the reality that millions of families don't know. That innocent bowl of oatmeal sitting on your loved one's breakfast table right now could be creating a silent health crisis. It could be blocking their medications from working properly. It could be sending their blood sugar into dangerous territory. It could even be setting them up for a trip to the emergency room that could have been completely avoided. You see, for seniors, oatmeal isn't just oatmeal anymore. Their aging bodies process foods differently than yours or mine. Their medications interact with nutrients in ways that can be absolutely devastating. And when you combine that morning oatmeal with certain foods that are sitting in your pantry right now, foods that you probably consider healthy, foods that you might have even served together just yesterday, you create combinations that can be genuinely dangerous for elderly bodies. Today, I'm going to share something with you that might completely change how you think about breakfast for your elderly loved ones. I'm going to reveal 7 surprisingly common foods that should never, ever be mixed with oatmeal if you're caring for a senior. And I need to warn you, some of these combinations are so popular, so seemingly innocent, that you've probably served them multiple times this week without even thinking twice about it. But here's what I promise you by the end of this video. You're going to know exactly which foods need to be separated from that morning oatmeal. You're going to understand why these combinations are particularly dangerous for aging bodies. And it's not what you think. And most importantly, you're going to walk away with practical, simple ways to modify your loved one's breakfast routine that could literally save their life. If you're here right now because you want to make absolutely sure you're giving your elderly loved ones the best possible care, if you're the kind of person who lies awake at night, wondering if you're doing enough for them, then I need you to comment oatmeal safety below. Let me know you're here. Let me know you care as much as I do about keeping our seniors safe. And if this is your first time visiting Elder Wisdom, please hit that subscribe button right now, because we share life-saving information like this every single week, and your loved one's health might depend on what you learn here. Key food. Number 1, citrus fruits, orange juice, grapefruit. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 82 years old, sharp as a tack, and one of those grandmothers who took pride in staying healthy and independent. Every morning, without fail, Margaret would sit at her kitchen table with a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh orange slices and a tall glass of orange juice. Her daughter was so proud of this routine, she thought she was helping her mom get the perfect combination of fiber and vitamin C. But after about 3 weeks of this breakfast routine, something started going wrong. Margaret began waking up with severe stomach cramping. She felt weak, more tired than usual. Her daughter noticed she was getting dizzy when she stood up too quickly, Most concerning of all, even though Margaret was faithfully taking her iron supplements every day, her iron deficiency symptoms were actually getting worse, not better. Here's what was happening inside Margaret's body, and this might shock you. The high acid content in those oranges and orange juice was actively fighting against the iron in her fortified oatmeal. Every single morning, those citrus fruits were creating an acidic environment in her stomach that made it nearly impossible for her body to absorb the iron she desperately needed. Think about this for a second. 20% of elderly adults already struggle with iron deficiency. Their bodies don't absorb nutrients like they used to. And here was Margaret, unknowingly making her condition worse with what seemed like the healthiest breakfast imaginable. That combination was worsening her anemia, which explained the fatigue, the dizziness, and yes, even increased her risk of falling. One of the most dangerous things that can happen to a senior. Now, I know what you're thinking. Most families believe that pairing oatmeal with citrus creates this perfect, complete, healthy breakfast. It sounds logical, right? Fiber plus vitamin C equals health. But the timing of when you eat these foods together matters more than you could ever imagine. That acidic environment doesn't just affect iron, it blocks the absorption of other crucial minerals too, right when your loved one's aging body needs them most. So here's what you need to do if your loved one enjoys citrus fruits. Don't take them away completely. Just change the timing. Serve those oranges or grapefruit at least 2 hours after their oatmeal breakfast. Or even better, switch to berries like blueberries or strawberries. They'll still get those powerful antioxidants, but without sabotaging their iron absorption. But iron absorption isn't the only concern we need to talk about. Our next food combination can actually interfere with critical heart medications. And this one might be the most dangerous of all. Key food number 2. High calcium dairy, milk, yogurt, cheese. Now I want you to meet Robert. Robert was a 75-year-old retired teacher whose daughter lived nearby and took incredible care of him. Every morning she would prepare his oatmeal with whole milk, and then she'd top it with a generous serving of Greek yogurt. She was so proud of this routine because she thought she was strengthening his bones, giving him extra calcium and protein. Robert also had a heart condition, so he was taking digoxin, a critical medication that helps regulate heart rhythm. His daughter made sure he took it at the same time every day, never missed a dose. But during his regular checkups, something puzzling was happening. His doctor kept noticing that Robert's medication levels weren't stable, even though he was taking the exact same dose at the exact same time every day. Here's the frightening truth about what was happening. The high fiber content in oatmeal, when combined with all that calcium from the milk and yogurt, was actually binding to Robert's heart medication. Every morning, this combination was reducing the effectiveness of his digoxin by up to 40%. For a senior with cardiovascular conditions, this isn't just concerning, it could be life-threatening. Think about how many families do exactly what Robert's daughter was doing. They assume that more calcium automatically equals stronger bones, healthier seniors. But what they don't understand is that timing and combinations matter desperately when medications are involved. That fiber-calcium binding effect is strongest when these foods are consumed together in large amounts, exactly like Robert was doing every single morning. The solution here is simpler than you might think, but it requires changing some deeply ingrained habits. If your loved one takes heart medications, prepare their oatmeal with water or a low-calcium plant milk like almond or oat milk. Serve the dairy separately, maybe as an afternoon snack. And this is crucial. If your loved one takes any heart medications, maintain at least a 2-hour gap between high-fiber meals and medication times. This small change could literally be the difference between their medication working properly or not. But medication interactions aren't limited to heart drugs. There's another common breakfast addition that can interfere with blood pressure management. And this one might surprise you because it's often recommended by nutritionists. Key food number 3, bananas, high potassium. Eleanor was 71 and had been managing her blood pressure with medication for several years. Her morning routine included oatmeal with sliced banana, a combination that her nutritionist had actually recommended for heart health. It seemed perfect, right? Fiber from the oatmeal, potassium from the banana, everything her heart needed. Eleanor was taking ACE inhibitors for her blood pressure, and she was diligent about her medication schedule. But during her routine blood work, her doctor discovered something alarming. Eleanor's potassium levels were dangerously high. Not just slightly elevated, but high enough to be genuinely concerning. Here's what you need to understand about this combination. Oatmeal naturally contains potassium. It's one of its nutritional benefits. Bananas are absolute potassium powerhouses. When you combine these two foods and serve them to a senior who's taking ACE inhibitors, ARBs, or potassium-sparing diuretics, you're potentially pushing their potassium levels into a dangerous range. Why is this so scary? Because excessive potassium in seniors can cause irregular heartbeat. In severe cases, it can even lead to cardiac arrest. Eleanor was unknowingly putting herself at risk every single morning with what seemed like the healthiest breakfast choice possible. Here's something that might shock you. 45% of seniors are taking blood pressure medications. That's almost half of all elderly adults. And many of them believe that bananas are universally healthy for seniors. But medication interactions make this combination genuinely risky for millions of older adults. If your loved one craves bananas, don't eliminate them completely. Just move them to a different time of day. Serve them at lunch instead of breakfast. Switch to lower potassium fruits, like berries or apples, for their morning oatmeal. And this is absolutely critical. Always inform their doctor about their dietary potassium intake. Your healthcare provider needs to know what they're eating to properly manage their medications. Blood pressure medications aren't the only concern, though. There's a breakfast staple that millions of families add to oatmeal that can cause dangerous blood sugar spikes, and the consequences can be devastating. Key food number 4, honey or maple syrup. Thomas was a 79-year-old diabetic who took pride in making healthy choices. He had switched from sugar to honey in his morning oatmeal because he believed natural sweeteners were safer for his condition. His daughter supported this choice completely. After all, honey is natural. It has to be better than processed sugar, right? But something concerning started happening. Thomas's blood glucose readings became increasingly erratic. Some mornings they were dangerously high. Other times they would crash so low that he felt confused and shaky. His daughter noticed he was having several hypoglycemic episodes. Those scary moments when blood sugar drops so low it becomes a medical emergency. Here's the truth about what was happening to Thomas every morning. While oatmeal has a moderate glycemic index on its own, adding honey or maple syrup creates what I call a double carbohydrate load. This combination causes rapid blood sugar spikes followed by dangerous crashes. For diabetic seniors, this blood sugar roller coaster can lead to confusion, falls, and genuine emergency situations. But here's what might really shock you. Honey actually has a higher glycemic index than regular table sugar. And as we age, our bodies become less efficient at regulating glucose. What might cause a minor blood sugar spike in a younger person can create a medical crisis in a senior. The myth that natural sweeteners are automatically safe for diabetics is not just wrong, it's genuinely dangerous. Thomas was actually making his diabetes harder to manage by choosing what he thought was the healthier option. If your loved one needs their oatmeal sweetened, try cinnamon or vanilla extract. Both add wonderful flavor without affecting blood sugar. Small amounts of fresh berries can add natural sweetness too. If you absolutely must use a sweetener, stevia or monk fruit won't impact blood sugar levels the way honey and maple syrup do. Sugar spikes are serious, but there's another common oatmeal addition that can actually prevent your loved one from absorbing life-saving nutrients. And this combination is so common that most people do it without even thinking. Key food number 5, coffee or black tea. Helen was 78 and had maintained the same morning routine for decades. She would sit at her kitchen table with her bowl of oatmeal and her daily cup of coffee, reading the newspaper and starting her day peacefully. It was a routine that brought her comfort and stability. But over several months, Helen began showing signs of severe fatigue. She was sleeping more during the day, felt weak when climbing stairs, and just didn't have the energy she used to have. Her family initially attributed this to normal aging, but when her doctor ran blood tests, they discovered she was developing iron deficiency anemia, despite the fact that she was eating iron-rich foods regularly. Here's what was happening every single morning in Helen's body. The tannins in coffee and black tea are powerful iron absorption inhibitors. When she consumed her coffee with her iron-fortified oatmeal, those tannins were reducing her iron absorption by up to 60%. 60%! For seniors who are already at higher risk for anemia due to age-related changes in stomach acid production, this combination was accelerating her iron deficiency. Most people have no idea that the timing of their beverages matters as much as their food choices. Even having coffee within an hour of eating can significantly impact how well your body absorbs crucial nutrients. Helen was unknowingly sabotaging her nutrition every single day with what seemed like a perfectly normal morning routine. The solution doesn't mean your loved one has to give up their morning coffee completely. Serve coffee or tea at least 2 hours after breakfast, or switch to herbal teas like chamomile or peppermint that don't contain those iron-blocking tannins. Green tea is also a better option because it has much lower tannin levels than black tea or coffee. But nutrient absorption issues extend beyond iron. There's a protein source that many families add to oatmeal that can actually interfere with critical medication timing, and this one affects thousands of seniors who might not even realize what's happening. Key food number 6, nuts and seeds, high fiber fat. Patricia's family was incredibly health conscious. They added almonds and flax seeds to her morning oatmeal, and they were genuinely proud of creating what they called a superfood breakfast. It looked perfect on paper: fiber, healthy fats, protein, omega-3s, everything a senior could possibly need. But Patricia was taking thyroid medication, which she had been on for years to manage her hypothyroidism. Despite taking the exact same dose at the exact same time every day, her thyroid levels kept coming back unstable during her blood tests. She was feeling exhausted, mentally foggy, and just not like herself. Her doctor was puzzled because her medication compliance was perfect. Here's what was happening inside Patricia's digestive system. The combination of oatmeal's soluble fiber with the additional fiber and healthy fats from the nuts and seeds was significantly slowing down gastric emptying. Basically, her stomach was taking much longer to process and empty this heavy, fiber-rich meal. This delayed digestion was interfering with her thyroid medication absorption, which requires an empty stomach environment to work properly. Thyroid medications are particularly sensitive to timing and stomach conditions. When Patricia's stomach was still processing all that fiber and fat from her superfood breakfast, her thyroid medication couldn't be absorbed effectively. This left her feeling exhausted and mentally foggy, symptoms that many people just attribute to getting older. While nuts and seeds are absolutely nutritious, the more is better approach to healthy foods can completely backfire when medications are involved. That fiber overload can bind to various medications, not just thyroid hormones. It can affect blood pressure medications, cholesterol medications, and many others. If your loved one takes thyroid medication, serve nuts and seeds as afternoon snacks instead of adding them to breakfast. For other medications, maintain at least a 4-hour gap between high-fiber meals and medication times. This might seem like a lot of planning, but it could be the difference between their medications working properly or not. Our final dangerous combination might surprise you the most, because it's often recommended by well-meaning healthcare providers who don't realize the risks they're creating. Key food number 7, fortified orange juice or vitamin supplements. Frank's doctor had recommended that he increase his vitamin intake, a common suggestion for seniors. So his caring daughter started giving him vitamin-fortified orange juice with his iron-fortified oatmeal plus his daily multivitamin. She thought she was being the perfect daughter, following doctor's orders, making sure her father got every nutrient he could possibly need. But within just a few weeks, Frank began experiencing nausea, constipation, and periods of confusion. His family attributed these symptoms to normal aging. After all, he was 81 years old. But what they didn't realize was that Frank was experiencing vitamin toxicity from getting too much of certain nutrients. This creates what I call a vitamin overload situation. When you combine fortified oatmeal, fortified orange juice, and multivitamins, you're potentially creating dangerous levels of fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. These vitamins accumulate in body tissues and can reach toxic levels in seniors whose organs process nutrients more slowly than younger adults. The iron situation was even more concerning. Frank was getting iron from his fortified oatmeal, additional iron from his orange juice, and more iron from his multivitamin. This iron buildup can cause serious organ damage over time, particularly to the liver and heart. The dangerous assumption that vitamins are always safe completely ignores the fact that senior bodies can't process excess nutrients the way younger adults can. More isn't always better, especially when you're dealing with fortified foods that are already packed with synthetic vitamins. The solution is choosing either fortified oatmeal or vitamin supplements, not both. Work with a healthcare provider to determine your loved one's actual nutritional needs rather than assuming deficiencies exist. Blood tests can show exactly what nutrients they need instead of guessing and potentially causing harm. I know this information might feel overwhelming right now. If you're sitting there recognizing combinations you've been lovingly serving to your elderly parents or grandparents, you might be feeling a mix of concern and guilt. You might be wondering if you've been unknowingly putting someone you care about at risk. These feelings are completely natural, and I want you to know that you're not alone. Caring for elderly family members is one of the most challenging responsibilities any of us will ever face. You're trying to balance their independence with their safety, their preferences with their health needs, and you're doing it all while managing your own life and responsibilities. The fact that you're feeling emotional about this information tells me everything I need to know about the kind of person you are. You genuinely care. But here's what I want you to understand, and I need you to really hear this. Knowledge is power, and awareness is love in action. Every single person watching this video right now is already doing something incredibly right. You're seeking information to provide better care. The fact that you're here, that you clicked on this video, that you're learning about these interactions, shows your dedication to your loved one's well-being. You are not a bad caregiver because you didn't know about these food interactions. Healthcare providers don't always mention them. Nutritionists sometimes miss them. Even pharmacists don't always explain every possible food-drug interaction. This isn't information that's readily available or commonly discussed, but it should be. If you've recognized any of these dangerous combinations in your loved one's current diet, please don't panic. Don't feel like you need to overhaul everything immediately. Make gradual changes. Most importantly, discuss these findings with their healthcare provider. Sometimes simple timing adjustments can eliminate risks while still preserving the foods they love and enjoy. Remember, caring for seniors isn't about achieving perfection. It's about continuous learning and adaptation. It's about staying curious, asking questions, and being willing to adjust when you learn new information. Your willingness to seek out this knowledge, to watch this entire video, to care enough to make changes, that proves you're exactly the kind of caregiver your loved one needs. Let's take a moment to quickly review those 7 dangerous oatmeal combinations that we've covered today, because I want to make sure you remember the most critical points. First, citrus fruits like oranges and grapefruit that block iron absorption when eaten with oatmeal. Second, high-calcium dairy products like milk and yogurt that can interfere with heart medications. Third, potassium-rich bananas that can cause dangerous potassium levels when combined with blood pressure medications. Fourth, honey and maple syrup that create blood sugar chaos for diabetic seniors. Fifth, coffee and black tea that prevent crucial nutrient absorption. Sixth, nuts and seeds that can interfere with thyroid medications and other prescriptions. And seventh, vitamin-fortified foods and supplements that can cause dangerous toxic buildup when combined with fortified oatmeal. Now, I'm genuinely curious, and I hope you'll share with our elder wisdom community, which of these combinations surprised you the most? Have you noticed any unexplained symptoms in your elderly loved ones that might now make perfect sense? Maybe periods of fatigue, digestive issues, medication that didn't seem to be working as well as it should have. Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might be exactly what another family needs to hear to recognize important warning signs in their own loved one. We're all in this together, learning from each other, supporting each other through the challenges of caring for our seniors. If this video has opened your eyes to hidden dangers in senior nutrition, if you've learned something that could genuinely help keep your loved ones safer and healthier, then you'll definitely want to subscribe to Elder Wisdom. We are completely dedicated to uncovering these lesser-known health risks and providing you with practical, actionable solutions that can make a real difference in your loved one's quality of life. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we share life-saving information like this every single week. Information that could prevent emergency room visits, medication complications, and health crises that are completely avoidable when you know what to look for. Thank you for being part of the Elder Wisdom community. Thank you for prioritizing your loved one's health, for being willing to learn, for caring enough to make changes when necessary. Remember, every small adjustment you make, every modification to their routine, every conversation you have with their healthcare provider, it all matters. It can all have a profound impact on their quality of life. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue exploring more ways to provide exceptional care for the seniors in your life. Until then, take care of yourself so you can take care of them.